Anna adjusted her worn coat as she walked through the revolving door of the luxury store. The world in front of her was a stark contrast to the bustling cold street she had just crossed. The polished marble floor, the glistening chandeliers, and the delicate whispers of well-dressed customers created an almost ethereal atmosphere. A world of exclusivity where every detail seemed to scream, "You don't belong here." She took a deep breath, focusing on why she had entered. It was a special day. She wanted to gift her mother something unique, even if it meant just browsing expensive displays and dreaming. But as soon as she started walking, she felt the eyes on her. Quick, judging glances, as if every step she took was an inconvenience. She pretended not to notice, keeping her chin up. A saleswoman approached, her smile thinly veiled with condescension. "Can I help you?" she asked, stretching the words with a kind of politeness as fragile as a sheet of ice. Anna, trying to maintain her dignity, nodded slightly and pointed to a dress on display. The saleswoman, barely hiding her disdain, raised an eyebrow. "That one?" she asked, her gaze trailing up and down. "I think we have some more affordable options." Anna felt the heat rise to her face, but refused to back down. "I want to see this one," she reaffirmed, her voice firm, though her hands trembled slightly. The room seemed to quiet around her. Other customers began watching the interaction with a kind of cruel disinterest. Before she could react further, another sales associate, suppressing a laugh, whispered something to his colleague. Subdued chuckles rippled around her. Anna felt the weight of humiliation. Each laugh was like an invisible strike, exposing and diminishing her bit by bit. She closed her eyes for a moment, searching for a spark of strength within. Across the store, a man was observing. His immaculate suit and calm demeanor set him apart from the rest. Marcos had entered quietly not long before and had been watching the scene unfold. He saw the tension in Anna's shoulders, the effort to keep herself composed. Something within him stirred. He knew what it was like to be underestimated, even if those days were far behind him. As he watched, he decided he couldn't just stand by. Anna, realizing there was nothing more to do without subjecting herself to further humiliation, turned to leave. Her head held high was a mask for the tears threatening to fall. It wasn't the first time she had faced prejudice, but something about this moment cut deeper. The store doors opened as she stepped out into the cold, leaving behind whispers and stares. The cold air outside the store bit like blades, but Anna preferred the sharp wind to the oppressive weight of humiliation. She walked quickly down the sidewalk, trying to push away the feeling of helplessness burning in her chest. Every step echoed a mix of anger and pain. "Why do I still feel surprised?" she thought, holding back tears. As she walked, memories of other moments when she had been disrespected surfaced. Being judged by her skin color or the simplicity of her clothing was a familiar wound. Anna had learned to build a tough exterior, but moments like this reopened old scars. The mocking laughter in the store, the salespeople's condescending tones, they lingered in her mind like a painful echo. Behind her, however, something unexpected was happening. Marcos, the wealthy customer who had witnessed the scene, decided to act. He quietly left the store and followed Anna, watching her with a mix of empathy and interest. Marcos wasn't someone who usually involved himself in others' problems, but something about that moment had deeply touched him. He knew too well the weight of judgment, although his current wealth shielded him from it. In Anna's silent struggle, he saw a distant reflection of his own battles. "Anna!" he called out, approaching her. She stopped, surprised. Who would call her at a time like this? Turning around, she saw the sharply dressed man, his eyes expressing a mix of seriousness and concern. He wasn't a salesperson, not one of those who had humiliated her. "Did you forget something in the store?" he asked, trying to create an opening. Anna hesitated, her heart still heavy. "No, I just forgot how cruel people can be," she replied bitterly. Marcos nodded slowly, understanding that trust wouldn't come easily. "Can I buy you a coffee? I know we don't know each other, but I think we might have more in common than you realize," he said. She narrowed her eyes, skeptical. Who was this man? A stranger offering comfort didn't seem very safe, yet there was something sincere in his gaze. Reluctantly, she agreed. They walked in silence to a nearby cafe and sat at an isolated table. The warm aroma of fresh coffee offered a bit of comfort. Anna held the cup in her hands, trying to regain control. Marcos started, "My name is Marcos. I want you to know I saw what happened. It was unjust and unacceptable." "No one deserves that. This happens all the time," Anna said, her voice steadier now. "People think they can define our worth by what they see on the outside." She stared into the coffee as if seeking answers at the bottom of the cup. Marcos listened intently, letting her express her pain. When she finished, he shared parts of his own story. "I've been overlooked, underestimated, treated as if I didn't belong. It gave me strength, but it shouldn't have to be that way. No one should have to prove their worth just to be treated with dignity." Their conversation flowed. For the first time in a long while, Anna felt heard. Minutes turned into hours. Marcos made no empty promises, but emphasized that she deserved respect as much as anyone. As they spoke, the luxury store where it all began continued its routine, unaware of the impact it had made. The salespeople who had laughed at Anna believed the incident was forgotten, but they were wrong. From that moment, the pieces of destiny began to move in ways no one could predict. Ina and Marcos continued their conversation in the small cafe, the world around them fading away, leaving only their words, the warmth of the coffee, and a shared understanding. Ina remained cautious about trusting this stranger, but something in his demeanor and sincerity compelled her to keep listening. Marcos, with a calm tone, broke the silence that had settled after they shared parts of their stories. "Anna, I saw your strength today. I saw how you held your head high, even when the world seemed determined to bring you down. That's not easy, and no one should have to go through that." She didn't respond immediately, taking in his words. As much as she tried to brush it off, the experience in the store had cut deeply. But oddly, the pain was beginning to transform into something else, a small spark of hope. Anna wasn't entirely sure why, but she felt that this encounter was different. "Why are you doing this?" Anna asked, a hint of suspicion still lingering. Marcos took a deep breath. "Because I've been through similar situations. The difference is I had someone who gave me a chance when everyone else shut the door in my face, and I feel like it's my turn to do the same for someone who deserves it." Anna offered a half smile, not entirely convinced, but not dismissive either. "That doesn't happen often." "No, it doesn't," he agreed, his eyes glinting with a mix of compassion and a hint of challenge. "But maybe it's time that changes." For a moment, the air between them lightened, but Marcos quickly turned serious again. He looked at Anna with an intensity that made her lean in, as though his next words would alter her path. "What would you say about helping me with something?" he asked. She furrowed her brow. "Helping? With what?" "I want to invite you to a business meeting. I need an honest perspective, someone unafraid to speak their mind, and I think you'd be perfect for it." Anna felt confused. "Me? But I'm no one special. I have no experience." Marcos gently interrupted. "You have life experience, a perspective that most people don't, because you've faced challenges they can't imagine. That's exactly what I need." Anna hesitated. The proposal seemed unreal, but something deep inside her, a mix of curiosity, pride, and a glimmer of hope, made her say yes. All right, I'll do it. Markos smiled, satisfied. Good. The meeting is tomorrow morning. I'll send you the details. That night, Anna returned home with a restless heart. It was hard to believe that such an unexpected and surreal offer had come on a day that began with humiliation. Yet now she had an opportunity, even if it was small, even if it was risky. Deep down she felt that this encounter could be the beginning of a change she had longed for. The next morning, Anna woke up before dawn, a mix of nerves and excitement coursing through her. It was still difficult to wrap her head around Markos's offer. She dressed carefully, choosing her best clothes, a neatly pressed blouse and a simple but elegant pair of trousers. Deep down, she feared she wasn't ready for what lay ahead, but she refused to let her apprehension show. When she arrived at the address Markos had given her, a modern office building in the city centre, her heart raced. She took a deep breath before walking through the revolving doors, just as she had done at the luxury store. This time, there would be no condescending stares, but the fear of failure still loomed over her. In the lobby, a receptionist greeted her kindly and led her to a spacious conference room with glass walls that reflected the morning sunlight. Inside, other people, all dressed in professional attire and appearing well accustomed to such environments, were already gathered. For a moment she felt out of place, but then her eyes met Markos's. He gave her an encouraging smile and gestured for her to come closer. "Anna, I'm glad you're here," he said, walking over and introducing her to the other attendees. "This is Anna, my new consultant." The words were spoken with such natural confidence that even she almost believed it. The meeting began with discussions about business strategies, numbers, and projections. Anna felt out of her depth, but focused on absorbing every word. After a while, Markos turned to her. "Anna, what's your take on this?" The question landed heavily on her shoulders. She could feel the eyes of everyone in the room on her, some skeptical, others curious. She took a deep breath. "Well, I may not understand numbers the way you do, but I understand people. What you're trying to sell, it won't connect with the audience as you hope." The surprise and shock around the table were palpable. She pressed on, explaining her observations and suggesting changes. The silence that followed was heavy, but Markos smiled. "Exactly the kind of insight I was looking for. Thank you, Anna." From that moment on, everything began to change. Markos increasingly trusted Anna, involving her in important meetings and decisions. He constantly pushed her into situations that demanded courage, intelligence, and perseverance. She stumbled a few times, but rose after each fall, stronger every time. In these moments of growth, Markos shared more of his own story. He had grown up in a poor neighborhood, working from a young age to support his family. Climbing the ladder of success wasn't easy, but he had always believed that opportunities should be accessible to everyone, not just the privileged few. "Someone believed in me when no one else did," he said one day while they walked after an exhausting meeting. "And I see something in you, something you might not see in yourself yet, but you will." These words stayed with Anna. Over the weeks, her confidence grew. Her opinions were valued and her ideas were respected. Little by little, she started believing she could be more than she ever imagined. Yet the path wasn't without obstacles. Some people in Markos's business circle viewed her with suspicion, believing she didn't belong. Malicious comments found their way to her, testing her patience and resilience. But Anna learned to turn pain into determination. Whenever she felt intimidated, she recalled Markos's words and why she was there. Every day she proved that she wasn't merely occupying space. She was earning it. One day, after a particularly challenging meeting, Markos approached her with a proposition. "I want to give you what someone once gave me, the chance to build something of your own," he said. The idea of opening a business in her name was both enticing and terrifying. She thought of the responsibilities, the risks, and the potential for failure. But deep down, she knew this was a rare opportunity. Marcos looked at her with serious eyes. "It's your choice, but know this, I'll be there to support you. You can make a difference, not just for yourself, but for others who need someone to believe in them." With tears in her eyes, Anna accepted. She knew the risks, but also knew that, for the first time in a long time, she had an ally willing to believe in her potential. It wouldn't be easy, but she was ready to fight for every bit of it. The days that followed were a whirlwind for Anna. With Marcos's support, she dove headfirst into establishing her own business. It was something she never imagined possible, stepping out from the shadows of humiliation and prejudice to become the architect of her own future. The venture would be more than just a store. It would embody values of inclusion, dignity, and respect. The planning demanded exhaustive work. Anna spent countless sleepless nights studying every detail, from the design of the space to the type of experience she wanted to create for her customers. She wanted everyone who walked through her doors to feel seen and valued, regardless of their appearance, background, or status. For Anna, this mission was deeply personal. The journey, however, was far from smooth. As word spread about Anna's new venture, it unsettled certain figures in the industry, especially those who still harbored prejudice or felt threatened by her rise. Rumors began to circulate, casting doubt on her capabilities and suggesting that she had only achieved success due to Marcos's help, labeling her as nothing more than a puppet in the hands of a wealthy man. These whispers reached Anna, and though she tried to brush them off, they stung. One morning, while working in her office, a colleague came in looking worried. "Anna, you need to see this," she said, showing her a newspaper article. The piece was filled with insinuations and veiled accusations, suggesting her success was a facade propped up by hidden motives. Anna's stomach churned. She knew criticism was inevitable, but this was a direct attack on her integrity. Marcos, standing by her side, advised her not to be swayed. "They're afraid of what you represent," he said. "It means you're doing something right." Despite Marcos's reassurance, Anna felt the weight of the words. The rumors began to impact her business, causing some clients to pull away and casting doubt on her leadership. Determined to fight back, she gathered her team and, with unwavering resolve, outlined strategies to prove that the store's success was built on hard work and genuine merit. Anna made public appearances, sharing her story and emphasizing that her journey was rooted in struggle and perseverance. Gradually, people began to see the truth. Her honesty and determination broke down the barriers that the rumors had tried to erect. During one of her public presentations, she noticed familiar faces in the audience, the same salespeople from the luxury store who had humiliated her. Their expressions ranged from surprise to thinly veiled disdain. After the presentation, as Anna spoke with potential partners, one of those salespeople approached, now working in public relations for the luxury store. With a forced smile, he said, "Anna, it's interesting to see how far a push can take someone." Anna clenched her jaw, but remained composed. "The push I received was a chance to prove what I'm capable of, not to you, but for those who need someone to believe in them." Her pointed and poised response left him speechless. The encounter, though difficult, reignited her determination. She would not allow anyone to define her worth or undermine her capabilities. Each obstacle only strengthened her resolve, with Marcos's support and her own unshakable spirit driving her forward. In time, the store took shape. Anna meticulously curated every detail, from an inclusive layout to products that reflected her mission of empowerment. She made a point of hiring people who, like her, had faced discrimination and prejudice. Her store was more than just a retail space. It was a symbol of change. Opening day arrived, and anticipation filled the air. Anna donned an outfit that embodied who she had become, elegant and strong, but deeply connected to her roots. As she stepped through the doors to greet the first wave of customers, she felt the weight of the moment. Outside, a crowd had gathered, including members of the press, curious onlookers, and even those who had laughed at her in the past. In her opening speech, Anna spoke from the heart. She shared her journey, not to evoke pity, but to demonstrate the transformative power of respect and opportunity. "I'm not here just for myself," she said, her voice steady despite the emotion. "I'm here for everyone who has ever been silenced, humiliated, or dismissed. Today, we take a step forward together." When the doors opened and the first customers entered, Anna knew it was only the beginning. There would be challenges ahead, but she was ready to meet each one with the strength and dignity that had brought her this far. The grand opening of Anna's store exceeded all expectations. Customers from diverse backgrounds flocked to see the new business, drawn not only by the quality of the products, but also by the powerful message of inclusion and respect that it represented. Anna's eyes sparkled with pride as she watched the bustling activity around her. It was more than just a business launch. It was a victory against the prejudice and humiliation she had faced. As the months passed, the store flourished. Anna dedicated herself wholeheartedly to every detail, from staff training to building relationships with suppliers. Her transparent and thoughtful approach earned her loyal customers, and the store quickly became a beacon for those seeking not just great products, but a welcoming and respectful environment. However, success did not come without challenges. The growing influence of Anna's store unsettled some in the industry, especially those who resented her rise or harbored deep-seated biases. Rumors and gossip spread, attempting to undermine her accomplishments. Some competitors tried to sabotage her business, pressuring suppliers and spreading misinformation about her. The weight of these challenges pressed heavily on Anna's shoulders. Alone in her small apartment at night, she sometimes cried quietly, overwhelmed by the burden of proving herself over and over again. But whenever she thought about giving up, she remembered the faces of the people she was fighting for, people like her who had been dismissed and overlooked. And she found strength. Marcos noticed her struggles and offered his unwavering support. "Every obstacle is proof that you're doing something revolutionary," he reminded her. "Keep going. They want you to fail, but your resilience will be their downfall." One morning, a particularly hurtful rumor surfaced. A local newspaper published an article questioning Anna's integrity, suggesting that her success was merely a result of Marcos's backing. The piece was filled with innuendo and sought to discredit her hard-earned achievements. The impact was immediate, with some clients beginning to question her leadership and vision. Refusing to let the lies define her, Anna took decisive action. She spoke openly at community events, sharing her story and emphasizing the hard work that had brought her to where she was. Slowly but surely, people began to see through the lies. They admired her honesty, determination, and willingness to stand firm against adversity. Her strength was tested again at a public event. One of the attendees was a former employee from the luxury store where she had been humiliated. This person, now working as a PR representative, attempted to undermine her once more. "It's interesting how some people climb so high with a little help," he sneered. Anna met his gaze with a steady calm. "You're right. I did have help from people who believed in hard work, integrity, and the strength to create positive change. It's a shame you never understood that." Her words silenced him and earned a round of quiet respect from those nearby. Ina realized then that she no longer needed to prove herself to anyone. Her journey and her successes spoke louder than the doubts cast by those who sought to bring her down. As the months passed, her store became a thriving example of empowerment and inclusivity. She employed people who had faced discrimination, creating a space where everyone felt valued. Her vision went beyond profit. She was building a community. One evening, as she walked through the store, watching her team and customers, Anna felt a sense of pride, unlike anything she had ever known. She had turned pain into purpose, and she was just getting started. Over time, Anna's store became a well-known symbol of success, not just in terms of business, but also as a champion for social impact and inclusion. The environment she fostered, built on respect and dignity, was a stark contrast to the cold elitism she had faced in the luxury store where it all began. Her reputation continued to grow, leading to an invitation to an exclusive fashion and business gala. The event presented an opportunity for Anna to solidify her position and demonstrate how far she had come. Yet, she also knew it would be a test, as many of the same people who once dismissed and humiliated her would be in attendance. She mentally prepared herself for the challenge. On the evening of the event, Anna dressed in a gown that reflected her transformation, sophisticated and powerful, yet a reminder of her roots. She entered the grand venue, aware of every pair of eyes turning her way. Some gazes carried admiration, others skepticism, and a few thinly veiled contempt. Among the attendees were former salespeople from the luxury store, their faces revealing surprise and, in some cases, resentment. As Anna mingled, engaging in conversations and discussing her business philosophy, one of the former salespeople, now in a public relations role for the luxury store, approached her. With a practiced smile that dripped with insincerity, he said, "Anna, how interesting to see you here. It seems you've certainly found your way up the ladder." Anna felt a flash of anger, but steadied herself. "Yes, I have, through hard work and perseverance. But what surprises me is that some people never change, even after witnessing what true resilience looks like." The man tried to laugh it off, but the tension in his eyes betrayed him. He began to talk about how things were just the way they were, and that she shouldn't take things too personally. Anna, with a steady, clear voice, responded for everyone to hear. "I take it personally because it's people like you who perpetuate discrimination and inequality. Every person deserves respect, and that's exactly what my work stands for." A hush fell over the room. Many in the crowd watched in awe, others with discomfort. Marcos, who had been observing from a distance, stepped closer and stood beside Anna, a silent show of support and solidarity. The man attempted to save face, but eventually retreated, defeated by her firm, unwavering resolve. The rest of the evening continued, but Anna's words left a lasting impact. Many attendees approached her, commending her courage and determination. She used this opportunity to speak about necessary changes in the industry, emphasizing the importance of creating spaces that champion inclusivity and respect. The voice that had once been dismissed now rang loud and clear. As the event came to a close, Anna stepped outside, the weight of the night lifting from her shoulders. She felt a profound sense of closure. The confrontation had been about more than setting the record straight. It was about justice and showing that strength, dignity, and perseverance could rewrite any narrative. Marcos joined her outside. "You transformed more lives than you'll ever know," he said with pride. Anna smiled, feeling not just vindicated but renewed, and it all began with someone who believed in me. They walked away, knowing there were still challenges ahead, but confident in their ability to face them together. Ina had become more than a survivor. She was a force for change, inspiring hope and resilience wherever she went. As Anna stepped out into the night air after the event, she felt a cool breeze brush against her face. It was a symbol of renewal and the transformations she had experienced since that humiliating day in the luxury store. The battle for respect and dignity had been anything but easy, but she had faced it head-on with courage, and now she could see the results of her resilience. The city lights shimmered like a sea of promises, and Anna knew that each step forward had brought her closer to a purpose she had long sought. In the days following the gala, Anna's store continued to thrive, but she remained grounded. She never forgot where she had come from, or the hardships that had shaped her journey. She took pride in mentoring her employees, ensuring each of them felt valued and respected. The store became more than just a business. It was a symbol of resilience, a place where everyone, regardless of their background, felt seen and appreciated. Anna also dedicated her time to community events and public speaking. Sharing her story became a way to inspire others who faced discrimination and doubt. At one such event, she addressed a diverse audience saying, "Respect should not have to be earned. It is a right that belongs to everyone. No one has the right to make you feel less than you are." Her words resonated deeply with those who heard her, further cementing her role as a leader in the fight for equality and dignity. The support she received reminded her that even small changes can create lasting impacts. Anna had become a beacon of hope, using her voice to amplify those who still struggled to be heard. One day, as Anna was working in her store, a young man approached her hesitantly. He explained that he had been following her story and had come seeking advice. "How do I keep going when everything seems against me?" he asked, his eyes filled with uncertainty. Anna leaned in and, with the wisdom of someone who had faced countless battles, said, "You remember who you are, even when the world tries to tell you otherwise. You keep going even when you're afraid, because every step forward, no matter how small, moves you closer to the change you want to see." The young man nodded, a faint smile playing at his lips. In that moment, Anna knew she had planted another seed of hope, just as Marcos had once done for her. Later that evening, Anna met with Marcos for a simple dinner. There was no grand celebration, just a quiet moment to reflect on how far they had come together. "You've changed more lives than you can imagine," Marcos said with pride. Anna's eyes shone with gratitude. "And it all started with someone who decided to believe in me." They raised their glasses in a silent toast, not just to success, but to the journey they had shared and the battles they had fought. Anna understood that while the struggles were not over, she was stronger and more prepared than ever to face them. That night, before falling asleep, Anna reflected on her path. The humiliations, tears, and hardships had shaped her into the person she had become. Every obstacle had strengthened her resolve, giving her the courage to be a voice for those who still fought for respect. In a world where dignity was not always freely given, she had transformed her pain into purpose and her hope into action. With a heart full of gratitude and renewed purpose, Anna closed her eyes, ready for whatever challenges the next chapter of her journey would bring.